Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony, and I'm a speaker, author, and a guru of the future of disruption. As we know, digital transformation and digital disruption is happening at a breakneck speed today. Every industry is being disrupted. Now, how do we harness disruption so that we're able to 10x our effectiveness? So today, we want to look at the subject of body language. In today's digital connected world, is body language still an important part of our success? Does body language give us an edge in our personal lives and in our careers? And can body language give us an unfair advantage in what we are trying to do for the future? So today, I'm very glad to have with us a special guest, and her name is Catherine Malloy. Catherine Malloy today is the proud mother of 3 fantastic kids, a loving wife, and the owner of 3 cows and 2 dogs. So today, I'm very honored to invite Catherine to our show. I'd like to first congratulate you that I understand that your book is now being accepted to be published in both Taiwan as well as Vietnam. Congratulations, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you so much for having me today too.
Yeah, it's so exciting because just the other day I was going online to get a couple of books for my friends and realized that it was sold out on Amazon. This is fantastic results, Kev. So, Kev, I just have a question, right? You are now an international speaker, you are a best-selling author of the $1 Million Handshake. I mean, your career is at such a lofty heights. Now, what did you study in your school? How did your life evolve to such a stage where today you could be an international speaker, a best-selling author, and so well-known for your coaching skills? How did that come along? How did that journey come along? I'm curious, I'm sure the audience is very curious to want to hear about your story, so that we can understand a little bit about your journey.
Wow, good question, and it's a big question.
Yeah.
At school, I excelled. I really loved mathematics.
Yes.
And I love patterns.
Right.
I'm also a visual learner, so I see everything.
Right.
And that's held me in good stead working with people and in businesses. But around the age of 16, I lost my mum. And, when women lose their mum, you have to sort of start doing everything for yourself in the house. And I started the job and I started working with Westpac. And then I started to study my accountancy while I was there. But at the age of 19, I did a little bit of traveling and I started to watch people and the way that they negotiated. And I thought, gee, I'm not really great at negotiations. But a lot of what happened was through the handshake. So as I traveled through Asia, people were meeting people in the markets and stalls, they were shaking hands and they were doing deals. And I could see that some people connected well and some didn't. So when I came back to Australia, alongside studying my accountancy, I then started to study body language. I took videos out, I took them home, I watched them. And what I understood was the more that we were open, the easier it was to make connections. So then I became the top salesperson for Westpac in Queensland.
Wow.
And then nationally.
Wow.
Yeah, so I then went into 260 Queen Street and started to train people in customer service and product knowledge.
Right. Wow, that was an amazing journey for you, Kev. I mean, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
So, Kev, in today's world, you know that digital innovation, digital transformation is happening at such an alarming speed. And today, the pace is relentless. With social media coming in and everything, we are getting more and more disconnected by the day. So, where do you see body language today? Do you think that body language still has a big role to play in the future of disruption? And do you see body language as giving us an unfair advantage in our personal and corporate work? Could you just give us some tips and give us some ideas of what do you think about body language in the future of disruption?
Great question. Because for body language to be really effective for you, it's not about you reading other people and about you making up stories for other people. It's about understanding what you're transferring through. So you need to start disrupting yourself first. Now, this is the area of social media, isn't it?
Yes.
So everyone's getting themselves in front of a camera. But it's interesting, I watch a lot of salespeople and then they tell you about their product and they say it's so great, you're going to love it, and it's going to save you money, and then they touch their face again.
Oh.
And every time we touch our face, we're showing that we're not 100% sure about this. So when someone does that, I think, no, it's not a great product, you're not happy with this right now. And that's the only time that I will link it to the other person is when they use a keyword and they touch especially their nose, they're feeling a little uncomfortable. But what's really important is when I go on social media is to make sure that I'm not touching my face, that I'm not showing I'm a little confused, or perhaps I've got a pain in my neck right now, or maybe there's something I don't want to see. So really important. I truly believe that the 10 top TEDx talks have been studied and said they have the best body language. So if you really do want to disrupt the market, and you know, the 1,000 most followed things online now is people, isn't it?
Right.
So it's really important then to be watching what are we doing with our body and our face.
Well, and I can relate that, right? I mean, can you imagine when we are going to a meeting and we can look at the other person's body language, we probably could form an idea what thoughts this person is having, what state of mind this person is having as well. And if we are able to control our own body language, then we are able to master ourselves so we can come across as more confident. Well, that would really give us an unfair advantage in the market today. Yeah, in fact, I heard that you mentioned just the other day that the Australian elections, one of the politicians, I would say he did not really master his handshakes very well, and as a result, that cost him dearly. Is it true?
It's true, absolutely. You know, when people come together, we all get to see what's happening. And the Australian people saw Mark Latham shake John Howard's hand.
Right.
And when that happened, the Australian people thought, wow, he looked arrogant and a bully. And they didn't vote him, and he actually lost the election. However, the interesting thing is, Trump's handshake does about 6 different things. It's almost like in his mind, he is 6 steps ahead of what's happening.
Wow.
But the American people still voted him in. Yeah.
So Kev, would you mind sharing me, give me your secret on how to quickly do $1 million, how to execute $1 million handshake so that I could get some of this unfair advantage as well?
Fabulous. So the first thing we need to is start to disrupt ourselves.
Right.
And unlearn everything so that we can relearn.
Right.
So would you like to do this standing up or sitting down?
Sitting down would be great, I
Okay,
think.
so we're sitting down for the cameras, but normally, always, we would stand up.
Right.
Yep, to give that full attention.
Sure.
And not to have any blocks in front of us. All right, so if we're going to shake hands right now, this will be interesting sitting down. All right, let's have a shake of hands. Great, fantastic. So as you can see, we have to lean in because our seats are too far apart. So normally around 3 feet is really, really great.
Right.
This is the web of the hands. So it's important for it to connect straight away, yeah? Because you make such a better connection. When we're here and we grab someone like this, it doesn't feel good.
So good, yeah.
But if someone else grabs you like that, you can't say, look, that's a terrible handshake, let's start again, because that's the way they've been shaking.
Right.
So it's important to accept what you're given, but then you know you're going to have to work a bit harder to build a better connection with that person.
Right.
Maintain great eye contact, ask them questions about themselves.
Thank you. And normally, you know, I see people do a lot of pumping. How has pumping come into play with the handshake?
Yeah. So people get really, really excited.
Yes, I'm excited
You know,
now.
Sometimes Americans love to pump the hands as well.
Yes, it feels good, huh?
And if you're pumping, it feels great. But if you're receiving it, it can feel a little bit awkward and like your arm's a bit like a spaghetti. So it's important that we might be really excited or we might be really nervous, but 2 to 3 pumps high is just enough.
Thank you so much for the little tip, Kath. So Kath, the world of disruption is happening, the future of disruption is happening, it is a fact right now. But I also know, and I'm also so excited to have you with us, because I know that you are a disruptor. In fact, you are known for disrupting body language in your industry. Could you just share with us, how do you disrupt such an exciting industry like body language? How did you come up with your ideas to disrupt this industry? And could you just share with us how this journey came about?
I guess we really need to go back 10 years because I was disrupted.
Right.
And you know, I believe there's 2 reasons in life we do things, either through inspiration or through desperation. And I think you're better off disrupting yourself before you get disrupted.
Yes.
So my husband fell really ill and we lost nearly everything. We lost well over $1 million. We were mortgaged on one house. We had 3 children still at private school and we didn't have any jobs. So right then I just dug deep. You know, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? You know, what do I love doing? Why am I here? And I decided to set up a training company because I loved customer service, I loved product knowledge, I loved sales, and I thought everyone needs that, right? Apparently they do, but they don't take it. What they really wanted was leadership and management. And so I was lucky enough that I had studied leadership. I'd won awards for leadership as well. So I started to use the techniques through body language to create an amazing program. And in the first year, face-to-face, I'd signed over $1 million in contracts.
Wow.
So my business took off, and by the end of 2 years, we had 18 staff on the Sunshine Coast and 36 trainers around Australia that we had access to for our training materials. But, you know, sometimes your business can go vertical and then you're not really doing what it is that you set out to do.
Right.
So around 5 years after I set the business up, I went to a one-day event and decided that I really want to get my message to many.
Okay.
And that I loved standing up in front of people and sharing this message. So I had a few experiences in China. I spoke to a few groups of 500 people, and I thought, wow, it's almost selfish when we have these great messages and we don't share them.
Right.
So body language is one of those things that everyone thinks they know about because they can read everyone else's, but they forget that other people can read theirs. So it's really, really important that we start to understand what our body language is saying before the next person that we meet. So in our book, The $1 Million Handshake, we've actually created the Conscious Connection Framework.
Right.
And it won some awards in Asia Pacific 2 years ago in Japan, one of the Stevie Awards. And it's all around putting the body language, the mindset and behaviours together. And I think this is the key, because I truly believe it's all about creating a level playing field. Like someone says, oh, I'll meet them halfway. That person doesn't know what your halfway is.
Right.
So we all need to be masters in communication and go the whole way to meet people by being aware of our body language and their body language, being mindful of who we're meeting, what we're saying to people, and also behaviours, because worldwide, when you take away body language and you take away verbal and non-verbal language, you have the exact same raw behaviour styles worldwide.
Yes. So Kev, now I understand where your disruptive idea came from. I think a lot of people is just focusing on the externals, especially body language, how you shake your hand, how you smile, and how you come across to other people. But oftentimes there's a big connection between the inner world and the outer world, and I think you make that connection very, very well. I think people start to realize that, and the message really goes deep right now. And I also like it how you are using public speaking to amplify the message of this particular connection so that the world understands how it all works together as a system, right? Because your inner world creates your external reality.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Kev. Thank you so much for sharing this disruptive idea with us. Now, I would like to just find out from you, there's so much anxiety and there's so much uncertainty in the market today, now more than ever. And there's so many millennials that's coming into the market. Now, if there's one idea and one tip that you can give them that could help them to maximize and give them an unfair advantage in life for the future of disruption, what would that tip be?
To be conscious.
To be conscious.
To be conscious.
To be more aware
Yeah.
of yourself or your inner self, or more conscious of your choices.
We actually developed the last chapter here,
Right.
because each chapter has online content too.
Right.
So there's body language, there's the $1 Million Handshake, there's behaviours and mindset. And we put them all together in the Conscious Connection Framework. And this is where we need to consciously connect with ourselves first, so that we can influence ourselves well, and then we can influence others. Technology is amazing. It's disrupting everywhere. But the interesting thing is people haven't changed. The way we behave has still not changed. So when we are conscious of our body language first, because we react in 1/25th of a second.
Right.
So you could walk in and I could go, and then all of a sudden you've seen that movement of mine. Did you know husbands and wives can fight for 2 days without saying a word because of the raise of an eyebrow at the wrong time?
Ah, okay. I must be more conscious about my eyebrow, Kev. Thank you for this reminder.
And if you're an eye roller, don't eye roll. But body language and mindset, being really mindful of ourselves. And, I think this is a great way to communicate. What are we doing with plastics? What are we doing with this and that? So bringing in that mindset, not just about yourself and others, but also about the planet. And then behaviours. To me, this brings that conscious connection framework for communication skills to the fore once we understand behaviours, because Body language is different in different countries. We only have 6 facial expressions that we recognise worldwide. So it's different. Verbal and non-verbal language, you know, our body language we were just saying is different. But the raw behaviour styles of people worldwide are the same. So that means I can work in Saudi Arabia, I can work in UK, I can work in India, I can work in China, because I understand the raw behaviour styles of people. And when we put these all together, when I'm mindful of my body language and of the person I'm meeting, we create a level playing field. And I truly believe this is where we have win-win situations, not win-losers.
Right.
That's what we want. We want to create win-win. So when you walk away from me, you walk away and think, wow, I really enjoyed meeting her. I wonder what we can do together, or who I can connect her with too.
Right.
And then I'm feeling the same way.
Right.
So I can't meet you halfway. I don't know where your halfway is.
Right.
What we need to do, finally, after all these years living in this world, we need to learn to master communication. And the way we need to do that is to be more conscious of how we're communicating and who that person is that we're communicating to.
Right. So you're right, Kev. I think I really get it, because the first thing is make sure your mindset is there, because the future is always uncertain. The only thing that we can manage is our own mindsets, and from that mindset gets consciousness. Be mindful of the things that we do, so we are fully present, and we can then use it to our advantage, so that we can create the results that we want. And of course, through proper communication, so that we're able to find a voice to amplify and get our message across. Especially today, you know, it's such a noisy world out there, right?
It is so noisy. And if we want to optimize the power of our 700,000 different movements that we've been gifted, we have to be more conscious.
Wow, thank you so much for the tip, Kev, and thank you for your advice to our audiences. I think everybody's there dying for tips from experts like yourself who have been so successful, where we can return to them some of this clarity that they deserve, so that they are able to live the life that they desire. But you know, Kev, you have been so successful and you have been so busy on the road, like 200 days a year, you know, and you have been giving speeches and you are coaching, you are influencing lives out there. You know, at the end of the day, it's about joy and happiness. It's about your own personal space as well. So while you are doing so much good work out there, how is it that you're giving time for yourself? How are you finding the joy and the happiness in yourself? Because ultimately it comes down to joy, right?
It does. And, you know, happy is an interesting word, because be happy is an action.
Right.
So you may not just always walk around like I'm happy, but you can be happy. And I feel wherever I lay my hat, it's my home. I'm meant to be there. So once again, it's about bringing that consciousness forward. And with my family, of course I miss my family when I'm traveling, and I try and take them, you know, whenever we can. But what's really interesting is I believe in integration. So if I wasn't happy at work or doing what I was doing, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
You know, and I think as human beings, sometimes we make big mistakes. We go somewhere and then we start complaining about that place we're working at. Instead of looking at us, are we getting enough sleep? Are we eating well? Are we telling ourselves good things? Are we speaking about good things to other people? Most of the time we'll find it's with us. That is the core. So to be happy, we do need to be conscious and mindful, because our body language can change how we're feeling immediately.
Right.
In a nanosecond, you can put your shoulders back, put your head up, you can feel great, you can breathe easy. Or you could put your shoulders forward and look down, and you could start to mumble.
I totally agree. Happiness begins from within, right? Happiness is totally within your control. It's not the external stimulus, but it comes from you. But Kev, if there's one activity that you find great joy in, you know, that you have some time, you have maybe an hour or 2 hours a week or a day, what will you be doing?
Oh, good question. If you jump on my Facebook, you'll probably see. I bought a farm with 17 acres with my husband, and we've got 3 cows now that we rescued. And they had pneumonia, and so now they're having this jolly life running around from paddock to paddock and joining us on the tennis court. And we've got a couple of dogs, and we're also setting up a training centre there as well, so that we can help some of the young people use that power of their body language to change the future and to change what they're thinking about. So I truly believe that if we can use these soft skills at a young age, we change outcomes.
Right. So Kev, I mean, thank you for sharing so much with us today, you know, giving us tips and how to do the $1 Million Handshake. giving us tips on how to live the optimal life, and showing us that joy comes from within and everything comes down to your mindset so that we can have the life that we desire. So Kev, once again, let me try my $1 million handshake and hopefully I get it right this time, 3 palms. So Kev, thank you so much for being with us today.
Look, he's excited.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than 3, I work on it,
But it's a gentle pump, it's nice.
Thank you so much, Kev. Thank you so much for being with us today. And we appreciate you being here in spite of your busy schedule and your sacrifices. Thank you, Kev.
Thank you, Tony.
you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, once again, my name is Tony Tan and I'm the guru of the future of disruption. And one thing we have all learned, the future is uncertain, but what is important is mindset. That's the only thing that we can control in our lives today. Now, in our ongoing shows that is coming up, I'm going to interview all the thought leaders and the disruptors of their industries so that can bring their one disruptive ideas to help you to maximize your life and to harness technology to your advantage. At the end of the day, it's not just about disrupting technology to improve your life, but it's also important that you enjoy and optimize your life experiences. So as we hear from Catherine earlier, she has found how she has taken time out from her busy life so that at the end of the day, she gets joy and happiness. So look up to my next interviews so that I can share more of these tips and more of these disruptive ideas to bring your life to the next level. So I look forward to see you again. Goodbye.